It didn't.
Leonardo, happy birthday,
That
my
wound up
man.
being a cautionary tale to a degree, as it's unfolding post career. But all right, let's move on now to Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas fighting this Saturday in Brooklyn, my hometown, the Kingdom of Brooklyn, right in New York. Leonardo is turning 7 years old today on Father's Day. He is having his first trip to the Kingdom of Brooklyn to see his family. So it's doubling as a homecoming trip with me and my kids, and
it's actually my birthday today.
It is, yeah, it is your birthday. We got the Halo Master Chief theme going on for laser tag. But Leo, let's start with you, champ. You have been picking fights really well. You had Dubois over Wardley. You had Crawford over Canelo. Raheem can vouch for you.
Hey, mom's in the building. Watch out, watch out. There it is. Okay, this is a rare sighting of the royal family. Right. Take a look, man. Right, so this is how a dynasty is built.
But Leo, he had Oshaki Foster over Ray Ford. He had Teofimo over Shakur and then changed his pick last minute. And he also had Brian Norman over Devin Haney until he saw the weigh-in and changed his pick at the last minute and had Devin Haney. So he's been picking everything right. He has the right to change his mind at weigh-in time after he sees Xander and Boots weigh in. But I had you watch some fights of Boots Ennis. I had you watch some fights of Xander Zayas. Who are you picking to win the fight this Saturday, Leo?
Boots.
Boots. Okay, why Boots?
Said it with your chest.
It's hard to explain.
He keeps telling me it's hard to explain, but do your best, son, to explain.
I cannot explain it. Okay, I'm gonna try to.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just think for a minute.
Okay, he can think for him. When you're ready, you let us know.
Okay.
All right, but he's going. Go ahead, Raheem.
Like all picks, these things evolve. Sometimes it's just a feeling. I can't always explain it. It's like, you know what? I see something. I feel something. I saw a look in his eye. Oh, the way the face-off went. I've seen some training footage. Like, what savants like Leo, sometimes we humans can't really grasp exactly how these things work in their minds. But he comes to the right conclusion every time. So whatever the reason, it's a valid one.
Okay, do you feel like you could try your best to explain it now?
Maybe it looks like he will like. I cannot. It's so hard.
What was it? His speed, his power? What was it?
The power can probably like knock him out of his balance, and he hits a lot of shots sometimes.
He has combinations?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you think of Xander Zayas?
He has lots of speed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you got Boots? He's more powerful? Is that what it is?
I think he would just like kind of hit, like knock him over a little.
Yeah?
And wobble him.
Okay, all right. So that's it. You can go back upstairs if you want. We just wanted your pick, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll get
Happy birthday, buddy. I'm sorry I'm going to miss out on the laser tag and the halo, but I'm there in spirit. Go get him.
Say thank you, Uncle Raheem.
Thank you, Uncle Raheem.
All right.
I'm going to try something, Sean. That was a beautiful moment. Listen, that's his debut, and this is the right day for that debut. But we will see Leo back later in the week because as we all have the right to do.
Yeah. Wow.
What's going on?
He wants to pick somebody.
We got the whole crew.
Boots or Zayas? Who? Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Go
She just said Boots. Did you hear her say Boots?
No, she went who. She just went who.
Boots.
Yeah, that might have been another Boots. Everybody, Samantha, who do you have?
Boots.
Yeah, Samantha has Boots.
Man.
All right, so the whole house has Boots. All right, so
all right, so we got 6 days to see if Boots can hold the confidence. Because what's going to happen in the next several days, might be telling. We're going to see the attitude. We're going to see what the face-off looks like. We're going to see what the body language is. We're going to see what the weight looks like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes. This is one of those fights, though, that the wind can blow a different direction as late as Friday afternoon and make me go, something's different today.
Yeah,
I
will.
Kind of fight.
Yes, and I will keep my open mind in Brooklyn. Okay, I'm keeping my mind open. I want to see. We'll be at the weigh-in, both of us, front and center. One of the rare fights me and Raheem are attending together, being both there. So
you know what? I want the chat to tell me something. I feel like even we're in the same city, on the same fight. We should do this show the same way. Or do
Yeah.
you guys want to see us like sitting in person next to each other,
No.
or like having in-person guests and shit like that? Or do we maintain this structure of the show, even if Sean's literally in the next room?
No, you do
So
it
it's
from
good.
wherever
Okay,
your
I'm gonna-
location is in Brooklyn, and I'll do it in mine.
Yeah,
I think that's how we wind up doing it, from our hotels in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a Chelsea boy, Soho guy. Where
Oh, you'll be in
I don't think I'll
Manhattan?
be staying in Brooklyn. I'll be in Manhattan. I'm a Manhattanite.
Hey, we'll be taking the train a lot to Manhattan, basically every day that we're staying there. It's gonna be working boxing, and then the minute I get out of that and everything's uploaded and my work's done, we're headed to Manhattan, heading on the train with the fam. We gotta hit up a few places. Nintendo New York. We gotta get that Star Fox for Leo at launch, and I gotta go to the Garden. I gotta get my championship merch at the Garden, Raheem. I gotta get, and then hit a little Broadway, go see the Lion King. All right, and all right, now let's get into the fight. So speaking of the Lion King, I had the privilege of covering Xander Zayas' professional debut, November 2019 in Reno, Nevada. And the headliner that night was Shakur Stevenson winning his first world title as a professional against Joet Gonzalez, the WBO featherweight title, right? Mm-hmm. And so Top Ranks people, they tell me, hey, there's this kid Xander, interview him. He's the youngest kid ever signed to Top Rank ever, and he was 16 at the time, I think, maybe 17. And I'm like, wow, the youngest ever. All right, so I interview him. Skinny Puerto Rican kid who hadn't even grown into, he was in that awkward stage that a lot of us had to go through as a teenager. And he's got blue in his hair, blue braided hair, skinny kid, fighting at, I think, 140 at the time, right? And I was taken away by his humility, his character. He was a very, very likable 16, 17-year-old young man, right? And he wasn't even done with high school yet, Raheem. He fights that night on Shakur's undercard, gets a stoppage, and on he goes, right? And what I've seen from and I'll tell you the moment it happened, because I'm going to go see The Lion King on Broadway, all right, with the kids. There's a moment where Simba, he returns a man, and his mane is grown out, right? He gets that lion. He starts to look like his father. He starts to look like Mufasa, and he has his mane grown out. And the minute I saw Xander have his mane grow out, wasn't even at a fight. At his fight, it was either March or April last year. Might have been March. I think March of last year. Sebastian Fundora blows Cordell Booker out of the water, right? And at the time, Sebastian Fundora is the WBC WBO title. Fights in front of a few thousand people in a dreary Mandalay Bay arena. And Fundora, who might be the best guy in the division, but Xander Zayas shows up at the press conference, and he's broad. I'm like, who's this guy? This isn't the guy I've been interviewing these last several years. He has a presence to him. He's built. He's big. He's a big boy. He's like the man. He's a man now. It's like the mane is out, and he pulls up respectfully, not clout chasing. He's about that action. He sits right behind press row in the post fight, and respectfully, but serious as can be. I want to fight you. I'm your mandatory. Let's make this fight happen. He walks up to the towering inferno. Gabriel Fundora shuts down a face-off. No face-off, right? And what happens? Sebastian Fundora vacates the WBO title and opts to do the rematch. And it's not because Fundora's scared of Xander Zayas. He would have been the favorite if that fight happened. I think he did Xander Zayas a favor by that fight not happening. That would have been too much too soon. And you know who else agreed with that? People on Xander Zayas' company. I'm not going to say who, but a very respected man in boxing goes, the kid's not ready. He'll get killed, but he wants the fight. What are we going to do? Right? He's the mandatory. So instead, Fundora vacates the WBO title. He gets stripped, and then Jorge Garcia upsets Charles Conwell, the dark horse. But that was not a clout-chasing move. Xander Zayas pulled up a full-grown man at 22, ready to challenge that fight. And instead, Jorge Garcia, he upsets Charles Conwell, and now that's who Xander fights on Top Rank's last ever fight on ESPN against Jorge Garcia at the Madison Square Garden Theater. He pieces up Garcia, he outboxes him, and then after that, he's Top Rank's talking about him fighting Giovanni Santillan in Puerto Rico, and Xander goes, nope, I want Abis Barreau. I want a unification with the fighter who upset Ennis. He winds up fighting him. He surprises people with a reported $1 million gate in Puerto Rico. And now, if I had to guess, I would think Top Rank probably had another plan for him. Maybe let's wait out a Josh Kelly unification. You got 2 belts now. All right, you're the youngest unified champion in boxing. Let's take our time now. He goes, nope, I want Jaron Boots Ennis, right? And I asked my sister-in-law who's in town, the best sister-in-law in the world, the best aunt in the world, Tia in the world, to Leo. And I go, what do you think? Do you sense any aura from this kid Zayas? And she goes, nah, he seems basic. And I go, it's funny you say that because he is kind of a basic fighter, right? And my wife's picking Boots. My son's picking Boots. Boots is now almost a 5-1 favorite over Xander Zayas. And I've always, something about Zayas, because I got the chance to cover him in his debut, stuck with me. I like this kid. I'm not going to lie. I like this kid. But he never jumped off the screen. When I'd cover him ringside, he wouldn't jump out. And I'd say, Xander, what is your thing? What's your superpower? And I'm like, give me something. Do you got the left hook like Cotto and the power like Trinidad? Is it your speed? Is it your what do you got? And he'd always say, Sean, it's my brain. I can make the adjustments and I can win, right? So no one's ever been impressed by Xander Zayas. Sometimes not even me. But then he becomes the youngest world champ. Then he becomes the youngest unified world champion. Now he's the headliner in the blockbuster fight of the boxing world in the summer as the A side. Okay, and I think he's being underrated. I think he has a chance. Why can Xander Zayas win? To distill it, sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. All right? Jalen Brunson, right? If you would have told people a couple of years ago, I think Jalen Brunson could be the greatest Nick ever. Really? He could be better than the 7-foot #1 pick out of Georgetown. He could be better than Patrick Ewing. He could be better than 6'8" scorer extraordinaire Carmelo Anthony. He's gonna outduel the 7'4" alien, the best prospect in NBA history, perhaps in Victor Wembanyama. How's he gonna do that? He doesn't even dunk. He's not the fastest. He's 6'1". He doesn't even got muscles like that. He doesn't jump like that. How? The whole of Jalen Brunson is greater than the sum of his parts. And we will see. It's hard to pick against the talent of Jaron Boots. And how does Boots win? That's easy. That takes me 30 seconds. He's faster. He punches harder. He's more creative. He has insane dexterity and fluidity. But what if the whole is lesser than his parts? Where was that? I just want to ask, because one time could be a fluke, but 2 times, where was that in the 24 rounds against Karan Jukajan? And what did Jukajan do that gave Ennis some fits? He didn't, unlike Sergey Lipinets, unlike Roy Main-Villa, unlike Emantas Stanionis, he did not just come forward and give Ennis what he wants. He moved. He gave angles. He frustrated him. And Xander Zayas continues to say heading into this fight, I'm going to make him uncomfortable. I'm not going to give him what he wants. I'm going to be a step ahead of him. He has studied Jaron Ennis meticulously. He is not as talented as Jaron Ennis. But maybe, just maybe, he's being underrated heading into this fight, and he can pull off if he pulls this off, and everybody got angry at me for saying this, but if he pulls this off, think of that Rock in The Lion King when when Mufasa got killed and Simba was absent with Timon and Pumbaa, it had no king. It had no king. Puerto Rico has no king. They got no king. They love Amanda Serrano. Shout out to her. But ever since Cotto retired in 27, they had no king. Can Xander Zayas be the Puerto Rican king? Can he come back to the Rock and restore its glory? I can't pick him, but I got to be honest. This is the thread. This is the story that has me really intrigued heading in. The other thread is easy. Boots is too talented. Boots is too special of a talent. He's too good. This kid is a little too young. No matter what age, and I say all this to say it too, if Ennis destroys Xander Zayas or stops him, then all the credit to him. You're not going to hear me bring up Zayas' age after the fight or none of that, because I think Zayas is better than a little underrated. I think he's better than people think. But again, Zhukashan didn't give him what he wants. I think Zayas is going to try and implement some of what he did and take it a step further. I'm hyped for this fight, Raheem, and I think people are sleeping on Xander a little bit.
Like I said to Leo, sometimes it's hard to explain. You get a feeling, you catch a look, you sense the vibe between two fighters and the tension and whose energy is dominant. One of Chappelle's most recent specials is a conversation that we had a lot of the times. Who's having the stronger dream? Sometimes who's ever in the room with the strongest dream wins. I'm picking Xander.
No.
I'm picking Xander.
No, you're not.
I'm picking Xander. Between that soliloquy, that incredible monologue you just gave, you talk about the whole of its parts. This show is not bigger than the sum of its parts. That part. That's why we're on the show. What you just saw Sean do, it's that part. It's that part. That's the thing that nobody else on any other show, nobody else's podcast partner can do, and that's why I'm sitting here riding the coattails, because that is exactly it. Sometimes you got a guy who can take the ball all the way and score 40, put 40 down in the finals. Yes, that's the difference between the guys who get the rings, whose poster are on your kids' walls, and the guys who almost did it, the guys who come up just short on the finger roll. That's the difference. Xander Zayas might just be a victor in his moment. Everybody's like, oh, it's my time. What we saw from America in the last couple of weeks, what we saw after the disaster in Puerto Rico from Trump and the paper towel throw, and then the Americans rallying behind their fellow Americans and the Puerto Rican people, what we've seen in the Super Bowl, and the way that just sometimes there's a moment in history that a guy steps up to and steps into. I was downtown LA yesterday at the taco stand that was in the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, these Latin people are feeling themselves. They're getting their shine right now in their moment. And every now and then a hero steps forward to embody that. This is a moment like that for Zayas. This can be that time for him. And what did we just say about Haney? He stepped up. He stepped in. You just ran down a whole list of times when people said, that's not the opponent for you right now. You don't have to do that fight right now. Why are you taking that challenge right now? I said exactly that when he stepped in for Boots.
Me too.
I said, why? This is not a fight for you right now. You don't have to take this challenge right now. It might be too early for you right now. And here we are, fight week. That's what I'm basing my pick on. All the X's and O's you break down, all of the speed and dexterity and creativity and power versus all of that stuff, we can talk about that next week. But today, I'm saying that this Puerto Rican's got a moment he can grasp in America's face. And that, my friend, is why it will be better for boxing. As you said, that is why it will be better for boxing if he were to win that fight, because it's an exciting, unexpected underdog moment where there's plenty of reasons for him not to take the fight. It coincides with the country and the energy and people in this country who have felt disrespected and who have felt put down by their own countrymen and devalued by the President of the United States, and then you come through in a moment like this in Brooklyn, bringing that kind of fan base that New York Puerto Ricans will stand up off the back of Berlanga not getting it done. This could be that moment. And right now, I'm feeling like that's what makes Xander the pick, because he is reaching for greatness, and his people are coming along for the ride.
I don't know if it makes him the pick, because this is the this is one of the coldest, hardest sports, maybe the coldest and hardest sport in the world, where reality sets in the most brutal of ways in the boxing ring. And that what I laid out for you is the romantic, my wife said, don't get caught up in the fairy tale. You know what I mean? I got boots. That's what she told me, and Samantha knows boxing. But
that's why, Sean.
Yeah.
If he were the pick, if he were the favorite, if it made sense, it wouldn't be the moment.
Right.
I'm not picking based on anything that you've seen in the X's and O's. I'm saying that sometimes a guy steps. That's what the best boxing movies are about.
Yes.
A guy steps into the moment and does more than he should be able to do, and his people are on his back. It's that moment. We will see, but I feel like this guy might be the guy in the moment to do the thing, and he knows it. That's what he's been telling you with all these incidents that you broke down. Every time he's like, I'm the guy. It's my moment. I could do it. The reason I can do this and know this is because you don't think so. And here I'm about to do it again. That's what Xander's saying. Now, if we see him waver in the week, or if I see something that detracts me from being, maybe this isn't the guy, I'll say that too. But today,
right.
June 21st, right now, I'm picking Xander. Talk to me on the 22nd. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. We'll talk to on the 26th after the weigh-in.
Right now,
Yeah.
This is what I feel it is, and I'm not just talking bullshit and like I'll pick tips and up. No, I'm saying this is where it's at, and if something happens in the next 6 days that changes my mind, well, I'll say that. But something's gonna have to change my mind. This is what I'm feeling. I'm in my feels right now.
The vibe.
This is what I'm feeling. And if somebody can change that feeling, I'll let you know. But now that's the feeling to be.
I think that, though, there is a chance. I don't know. I'm curious what kind of support shows up at the Barclays for him, because Puerto Rican fans, they know boxing, and they may have a lot of the same questions everybody else has, which is, he's good. You know what I mean? He's good, and I gotta leave in a couple minutes for my son's birthday, so we'll wrap it up. But he's got some good technical things to him that go a little under the radar. But he doesn't have Benitez's amazing defense, the radar, the youngest world champion ever in the history of boxing at 17, Wilfred Benitez. He doesn't have Cotto's monster left hook. He doesn't have Trinidad's monster left hook and right hand and power punching, just prominence, whatever, another P word to go with it so it sounds good, and on and on and on. But you know what? Again, I think that's why, if he can pull it off, he bursts wide open in the boxing world. And when you're a Puerto Rican star, you don't even need to cross over. Nobody really, my friends at school, they didn't know who Miguel Cotto was, and yet he was the third biggest draw in boxing behind Mayweather and Pacquiao, because when you got a whole island supporting you, and by the way, I misspoke and said a country behind you, it's a U.S. territory, okay? So it's not a country, it is like the 51st state. But when you have the whole island of Puerto Rico against you, you don't even need to necessarily cross over and you become a force in boxing. I think even Puerto Ricans are probably going to be skeptical. Puerto Ricans know boxing. They probably like Jaron Ennis. And are like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if you could get this done. But if he does get it done, it explodes. And up until, Puerto Rico historically was arguably one of the top 5, I can't say countries, but places, histories, lineages in boxing. United States number 1, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and now recently the Eastern Europeans have exploded on the professional scene. But Puerto Rico historically was up there. I mean, we're talking like top 5, and they just their star hasn't shined as bright. The onus is on Zayas is to bring light to the kingdom, to bring light to the island. And he's always said from the jump that is his purpose in boxing. That is exactly what he's here to do. And he respects Felix Trinidad. He kneels at the altar of the Puerto Rican greats. He knows his Puerto Rican boxing history. He could tell you about Wilfredo Gomez and Wilfred Benitez and Trinidad and Cotto. Trinidad loves the kid, right? But he's always said, I'm my own guy, though. I'm not trying to be the next Cotto or the next Trinidad. I'm Xander Zayas, but I'm here to represent my country, my island the way they did. So maybe he is the guy when nobody, even me, through many points of his career, he's not that. He's not that, but maybe he is. And that, I think, again, is the storyline that has me excited with him as a 5-1 underdog. That I think people are overlooking. And when I bring it up, now I'm a bad guy. But
well, the whole boxing world says no, you can. Xander Zayas says, sí se puede.